During this first week of Lent, the first reading of today from Isaiah has been constantly inviting us not to focus on the external actions alone, but to focus on the internal disposition. So the external action might be fasting, and fasting as an external action is good, but the internal disposition must be to share bread with the hungry. The external action might be almsgiving, which is wonderful, but my almsgiving must not be ostentatious or done to show off. The external action might be prayer, but my prayer must be in silence in my heart to God, not mouthing, verbalizing prayers alone. And in the gospel text of today, very specially, Jesus shows us what kind of internal disposition we must have. Every other person who passed by the tax office of Levi would see a tax collector at the least. Others would see a cheat. Others would see a sinner. Others would see an extortionist. And Jesus passes by the same tax office and he sees in Levi a potential disciple. And because he looked at Levi in a positive way, because he looked at Levi as a disciple and invited him to discipleship, this person whom everyone else had relegated to the category of sinner, had relegated to the category of tax collector, had relegated to the category of extortionist, got up from his tax office and followed Jesus. It was not only the personality of Jesus which would draw the man, it was also the manner in which Jesus looked at him, the manner in which Jesus addressed him. My dear brothers and sisters, during this season of Lent, each one of us needs to go within our hearts. We need to ask ourselves about our own disposition, about our own frame of mind, about our own prejudices, about our own stereotypes. Do I look at others and form categories of them? Do I stereotype people based on where they come from, the language that they speak, or the God that they worship, or the food that they eat, or the dress that they wear? Am I prejudiced? Am I narrow-minded? Am I stereotypical? We are invited today to remove those blinders and those blocks and look at everyone as if we were looking at them for the first time, and still to look at them in a positive, enhancing manner. So even though they might be incorrigible, even though they might be stubborn, even though they might be arrogant and rude, your way of looking will transform them into humble, good people. In the second part of the gospel text of today, we are told that Jesus has come for one reason and one reason alone, which is to call sinners. He has not come to call the righteous. And no matter how holy you might think you are, no matter how many rosaries you pray a day, no matter how many times you receive the Lord in a year, no matter how often you frequent the sacrament of reconciliation, you and I, all of us are sinners. It is one thing to know it with the mind that I have sinned. It is another thing to experience the sin with my heart. When I do that, then I will know, then I will believe that Jesus has come for me. Let us stand up now and ask our Blessed Mother on this Saturday, which is dedicated to her, for these graces.